Hello, 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 and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, I'm so glad that you decided to stop by. If you are a returning follower, that subscriber, I want to say thank you so much for being here and returning. I know it's been a while since I've been gone. Life has been lifing. And I am back. I am Sonia Renee. I am a speaker and author and actress, and I speak about the invisible wounds that leave us emotionally hurt, which is abandonment trauma. And through awareness and personal development, I guide people to bounce back to live an amazing life. But today, we are not going to be talking about abandonment wounds. Today, we are going to be talking about feeling alone after 50. What do we do when we turn 50 and life changes drastically? So I know somebody's saying, wait a minute, I know you're not 50. You're right. No, I'm not 50. I'm 54. I'm 54 and I will be 55 this year, 2025. Yes. And so I wanted to come and talk to you about, how, when people are feeling alone after 50, when life changes in a drastic way for us, sometimes overnight. So I want to jump into a couple of those things. If this video is something that you really enjoyed and this is your first time here, I'm going to ask that you don't check up with us, but that you do subscribe and follow us and share this video with someone else who you feel may need to hear this information. Okay. And stay tuned for more because we're gearing up for a very busy year. I have a wealth of information to share and I am back to share it with you all. Okay, let's get started. So let's talk about common experiences, often stemming from life exchanges of the children leaving home, a career change, career transition, or loss of friends and loved ones or partners. Sometimes these things happen abruptly and then all of a sudden we have to change our routine. We have to change what we do. We have to change how we go through all of these emotions, right? And it's important to recognize that you're not alone in feeling this way and that there are so many of us that combat loneliness and build meaningful connections in this stage of life. So I'm going to talk about the first thing I'm going to touch bases on because I'm going to give you a few tips on what to do and how to do it. If you're not really sure what you want to do, what to do, or how to do it, that's what I'm here for. The first thing I want to talk about is the empty nest syndrome. Now, I have to say, before I even say that, when COVID happened in 2020, we shut down 1 month before my 50th birthday. I know, right? I was really... I was livid because I had a vacation planned to Cabo, Mexico with several family members and friends. We had already put our money out on the vacation. I already had everything mapped out of what I wanted to do when I got there, how I wanted to celebrate. And bam, the month before my birthday, everything shut down. Everything. We had to get our money back and now we're all stuck in the house, right? So I really was not happy about that. But I will say this. God still made sure I still enjoyed my birthday because at the time that year I had found out I was adopted by accident. I met my birth family. Well, that's a whole nother video. Yes, at 49, I found out that I was adopted by accident. That's a whole nother video. But I'll share that. If you have a similar story and you need to want to hear my story, you'll check out that next video that's coming out. Okay, so I met my family. I got a chance to meet them. And then, I'm home in the house. So people would do drive-bys and they would knock on your door and say hi. Or if you were celebrating a birthday, they would bring a gift and drive by and keep going. So I had a lot of drive-bys that day. I had a lot of Cash Apps and PayPal deposits. And I had gifts left at my front door for so many people who wanted to celebrate me but couldn't come near me because of the 6 feet separation. We were shut down and we had to be inside. So I still made $1,000 for my birthday, even though I couldn't go anywhere with it. But it's still, it was still a good day. And seeing my family and meeting them and getting them to meet my family, my children. It was really a really exciting time in my life. To be able to know my roots and where I come from, right? So fast forward the past 4 years coming now, we going into 2025, I've had a chance to meet my family, go on vacations. We've had a chance to have some heated moments and some fun moments and some loving moments, all the stunts, all the things, right? And so for me, and I'm a divorcee, so for me leading into that was really exciting for me. However, now this year I'm coming up on 55. So you best know I'm going to celebrate in grand style. Okay. So I truly know what it's like to be over 50, single, dating, children or adults, moving out. Everything that we're going to talk about, I've been through. And I'm going to tell you what I've been through. I'm going to show you, share some of these things that you might be going through. But I'm also going to share with you how to deal with it so that you can continue to live your best life. Okay? So the first thing is empty nest syndrome. I don't know about you, but I didn't really go through it like that, like some people do. But some people really do miss their children when they go off to college or they get married. So when children move out, for whatever reason, parents can experience a significant shift in routine and social interaction, okay, leading to feeling isolated because, when we have our children, we have a routine. Everything every day is get up and, feed the children, get them to school, make sure they're clean, make sure their clothes are clean, make sure they look presentable, make sure they've done their homework. There's all the things that as a mother that we have to do with those children when they're in the home. And we're doing this routine for 18 years or plus or longer because it depends on how old the youngest child is. My children are 33, 30, and 24. So even though when my oldest was graduating and graduated college and on her own into the world of life, then my youngest was still in school. And then when she got out, it was 6 years before my son would be finished with school. So, and he was, and guess what? So it was, it was different for me because I always still had a child in the house. Now, my middle girl, she's married, moved out. She has my grandbaby, the love of my life. My oldest just moved back because she moved from another state. So she just moved here. So she's getting re-inoculated. Now she's getting ready to move out. And it's just me, and it's now still my son. So and he's getting himself prepared because he's back in school. And I'm excited because he has a whole new skill set career he's going for. And so he has another year left in school and he graduates and bye-bye. But here's the thing. One of the things that I encourage women to do is don't sit and wait for the time to come where your last child leaves and now you just don't know what to do. Don't do that. Start living your life while your children are still living at home with you. Start finding things to do, places to go, things that interest you in your area. Think about how far you want to drive, or if you want to get on a train or a bus and travel somewhere, if you want to fly, whatever it is, start doing it now. Going to the spa, catching a movie, going to brunch, whatever it is, start doing it now and get in the habit of it now so that when your last child leaves, you won't feel like your behavior or your routine is uprooted or changed drastically. Maybe just a little bit, but not a lot. Only the part of where you don't have to do anything for your child anymore. That's the only thing that's really routine that's really going to change. But if you are starting to incorporate the things that you like to do right now, while you're still, helping your child get themselves out the door, then once they're gone, you're already in a habitual state of what you're already were doing for yourself. I always say 30 days is discipline, 60 days is habit, 90 days is a lifestyle. It takes 30 days for you to create discipline of something that you love to do, want to do, or desire to do. 60 days becomes habit because after you've done it for 60 days, it becomes habitual. And after you've done it for another 30 days, which is a total of 90 days, now it becomes the part of who you are. It's your lifestyle. Life is what you have and style is how you choose to live it. Okay? The next thing is retirement. So many people go through retirement, and when they go through retirement, leaving the workforce can feel, it can mean losing a primary social network and sense of purpose. Okay, because when we're working with people, we find ways to go to dinner after work, or we may have a work function. You have your work friends. You look forward to seeing them every day. You're communicating with them. You're chatting with them. You're laughing with them. Whatever your job is, you're interacting with those people every single day for at least 5 days a week, right? And so when you retire, you no longer have that community. So now you have to create this new community. So again, I say, and my thing is, create the community that you want to have. Even when you know retirement is approaching, create the community you want to have of doing the activities of things that you want to do and who you want to do it with, so that when you retire, you still have a social circle. You still have people that you can connect with. You still have people you can do things with. Okay? You never want to wait until it abruptly cuts off and now you have to figure it out. No, start figuring it out now. So when that moment in time comes, it's not a big shock to your system, right? Then loss of loved ones. Now, this is not something that we can control. We never know the day, time, or hour when we are going to lose a loved one, to transition to the other side, or if we're no longer, friends anymore. We just maybe not vibrate on the same frequency, and we just don't see eye to eye anymore. We're not interested in the same things anymore. And that's okay. Sometimes it happens, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you have to cut them off and be mad at them or anything like that. No, it just means that we're just not in the same place. We're not going and growing in the same direction, and that's okay. You just have to love them from over there. That's all. Okay? So loss of loved ones as people age, and I say that very lightly, as people age, they may experience some loss of friends and partners, which can contribute to loneliness. And so this is where you also want to start focusing on your solitude, meditating, focusing on the things that really bring you joy. Maybe it could be sitting on your porch in the sunlight, reading a good book, going to a waterfall and just sitting in front of the waterfall, listening to the water drop, taking a vacation, going to brunch, whatever it is, okay? Whatever it is. Start incorporating those things and start learning more things about yourself, of who you are right now. Because understanding that when you are in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s, we are not the same person. We keep growing and evolving, right? And so at 50, 54, I know for me, I'm constantly evolving. And when I went through a lot of shadow work and healing old wounds and from old relationships and bad relationships or toxic relationships, family dynamics, whatever it was, childhood trauma, when I went through that process, I really started spending more time by myself. And the more time I spent alone, the more I realized I really enjoy my solitude. Because growing up, we were always left to be alone. We were always left to share. We weren't allowed to share how we felt. We weren't allowed to express how we feel. I'm a Gen Xer, so you were a child. Stay in a place, be seen, not heard. I'll tell you if you have feelings. You don't get to express yourself. Not to a parent. Oh no, because it was seen as disrespect. But I mean, you can vent to your friends, but it doesn't mean anything if you're not able to share how you feel with the person who you feel is stifling you, keeping you quiet, is making you suppress your feelings. So over years, we just suppress things and they just keep compounding and compounding and compounding. And then when you get to become a full-blown adult, you start coming across people who weren't maybe raised the same way you were. And so now it becomes a dynamic of where you have to relearn yourself. You have to let go of the past. You have to heal from the past, release those attachments, forgive those you had to forgive, and forgive yourself for the mistakes you made and the things you allowed. And then start to recreate who you want to be. Recreate yourself of who you want to be today, right now. Okay? Nurture existing relationships. Here's some of the things that you can do. Like I said, nurture existing relationships. I chose, especially after I went through a lot of healing, I chose to love the people who love me. Communicate with the people who communicate with me. Spend quality time with the people who want to spend quality time with me. Everybody that you know is not going to spend that time with you. People have life. They're doing whatever they want to do. Celebrate those who celebrate you. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. Because see, a lot of times we find that we find ourselves worrying about the people who weren't there. This is a biggie. We find ourselves worrying about the people who are not there. So-and-so didn't show up for my birthday. So-and-so didn't call me when this happened in my family. You know, the last time I came to town, they didn't meet up with me like everybody else did. We're always looking for the person who didn't show up or the person who didn't call. And we're trying to analyze and find out why, instead of being present and grateful for those people who are sitting right in front of us, the people who did show up. Right? So focus on that. Nurture those relationships, because the people who didn't show up, that's on them. They're missing out on you. They're missing out on you. The new you, as you continue to keep growing and evolving, right? So make an effort to stay connected with friends and family through regular communication and visits. It's so important. You know, we can get so caught up on social media and I see this all the time. I can go out to dinner with friends and I'm looking around. Everybody's on their phone. Everybody's on their phone. And I'm looking around like, and my phone's down because I want to be present with the person in front of me. What is the point in going out and you're not present with the people that are in front of you? You're not communicating with them. Everything you're doing on your phone or for social media. And I'm not saying, you know, when you go out, you don't want to record maybe a moment, if it's a birthday celebration or a surprise engagement or something like that. Or, you want to take pictures to have memories. That's fine. All that's fine. But still be present in the moment to communicate with that person during a visit. See what's going on in their world. See what's going on in their life and let them know what's going on with you so that you can continue to encourage one another and support one another on your new endeavors. Okay. So it's very important to be present. Okay. Join clubs or groups. Find activities that you can align with your interests. Join local clubs or groups that meet up, once a month or a couple times a month with similar people with similar passions. I know for me, for an example, I joined some Facebook groups because I said I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm also an actress. You will see me on somebody's screen this year. So what I decided to do, because I'm originally from Philly, and if you're from Philly, put in the chat in the comments that you're from Philly and what part you grew up in. I was born and raised in Winfield. So I want to know where you're from. But I live in Atlanta and I've been here 10 years. So I don't have, most of my friends that I grew up with and all of my family is in Philly. So when I moved here, and I'm also a hairstylist by trade as well. I've been in the hair industry for 27 years. I have a salon in Atlanta. So I started some of my clients turned into associates and friends, and but it wasn't easy to make friends here because it's such a melting pot and people are so isolated, in their homes, in the community. The neighborhood is not like it was when I was growing up. Everybody in the neighborhood knew everybody. So it's a lot different today. So you have to put more of an effort in, making connections and networking, and then possibly it turning into friendship. It definitely does take work. Okay. And so I don't have a lot of those friends. I never had a big circle, but I do have one at this point now. I think I've reduced it down to one person, maybe two friends. Yeah. Because again, when you're growing and evolving, some people you have to let go, and some people walk away on their own, so hey, that's okay too, so you saved me a favor. I didn't have to do it, So I say, and then also what I did was I joined Facebook groups. They have Facebook groups for like women over 40, 50 and over, where I could connect with some people, and like they'll post in the group an event that's coming up, like maybe like a sip and paint, maybe a wine trip to the vineyard in Dahlonega, Georgia. I've done that. It's amazing. So you going to brunch, or checking out a movie premiere, because I'm definitely going to do that. Anything that has to do with my acting career, I'm definitely going to check it out and see if it's something that I can embark on that's going to, complement my journey, right? So it's important to do that, and you can make friends that way. Okay. Also volunteer. You can volunteer and give back to the community or people who may be in need, especially becoming an empty nester. Now in the big house you have, now you have all this extra stuff that you may not need. So now you can start finding ways to give back to people in the community who may need what you have, and it's no longer of use to you, instead of it's just sitting there collecting dust, or you end up throwing it out. So volunteer. And also volunteering can give you a sense of purpose and social interaction, because also you feel like you're doing something good. I know for me, I love helping people. I used to be the outreach coordinator at my church. So my church back in Delaware, because I used to live in Delaware too before I moved to Atlanta. But I really, really loved like giving back to the people in the community, the kids with school backpacks, and we used to do barbecues. We would have game nights. We would just do what we could to just keep the community engaged. And also when people were in need, we jumped right in to see how we could be of service to the people in the community. And it makes you feel like it makes you feel accomplished, like you're doing something positive in this earth. Okay. Also, pet companionship. This is not for me, because my children have allergies. My son is allergic to cats and dogs, so I don't have pets. We had to get rid of him when he was like 2. We had a cat, and we had to get rid of Snowball when he was 2. My son was 2. But for some people, that may be the best answer, to get a cat, get a dog. Again, it keeps you busy. It's like taking care of a child all over again. So it puts you in routine. And it gets you out the house, because you got to walk the dog. You don't have to walk the cat, but you got to walk the dog. Okay. So it will get you out of the house, and you never know who you're going to meet or connect with when you get outside the house. Okay. Now, of course, if loneliness significantly impacts your well-being, consider talking to a therapist or a counselor. And I'm going to tell you something. Therapy is amazing. If you never tried it, I encourage you to do it, because people always assume that therapy is for people who got issues and they all messed up, and that's not always the case. And if that is the case, it's because they probably grew up with other people projecting their feelings, their emotions, or their fears on them, or raising them. They might have been raised in a toxic environment, or a violent environment, or abusive environment, or maybe a parent was emotionally unavailable, or another parent was physically not there, and then they dealt with abandonment. Whatever the case may be, there's nothing wrong with going to therapy to talk to someone about the things that have happened in your life, and where you can share how it made you feel. Because sometimes we just don't have a platform to share how it made us feel. And so when you share that platform of how it made you feel, you really can get, it's really therapeutic, and you really can get a chance to really just get it all out. Because when you get it all out, you're purging. And it's very important to purge. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be in that moment and sit in that feeling and stay there and sit in that feeling, because you get to own it. You get to stay there. You get to feel how you feel. Okay. And you get to heal on your own timeline. You're not in competition with anybody else. Okay. Not in competition with anybody else. So that's just a couple tips that I wanted to share with you about if you're feeling lonely over 50, and I'll do a recap. Nurture existing relationships. Well, let me backtrack. The first thing I said was empty nester. Okay. If empty nester syndrome, if you have empty nester syndrome, we talked about what to do earlier in the video to get rid of that. Then we have retirement, loss of loved ones, and social changes. Those are very big ones when it comes to being alone, especially after 50, because the trajectory of your life changes. And let me tell you something, you're never too old. You're never too old to do what you desire to do. If you had a dream and you were younger and you became a wife and a mother too soon, I know I did. I was already on my path of becoming an actor, because I graduated from Creative and Performing Arts High School in Philly. I was on my way to be an actor. I was on my way to Theater of the Arts College. And then I met my ex-husband, and life went a different way. I got married and had children. Now I'm happily divorced, and I'm single, and I'm living my best life. Honey, I'm traveling the world. I'm on my second passport. Every time I get an opportunity to get out the house and go do something, I do. But then when I have moments when I want to enjoy my solitude, I do. It's on my terms. I get up and I can do whatever I want to do when I want to do it. The only person that makes me stop in my foot tracks is my 3-year-old grandbaby, who is the love of my life. I ain't know about that grandparent love. Nobody warned me about that. That's a different kind of love right there, because it's like my daughter all over again. And my grandson stole my daughter's whole face. Stole the whole face. He looks just like her, and he's chocolate like his daddy, but he looks just like my daughter. So, and then, what I said about doing something about those things is join clubs or groups, volunteer, take up new hobbies, online communities, and pet companionship, and seek professional support if you feel your situation is severe. And everybody's situation is different. But I'm here to tell you that at 54 years young, I am living the life that I desire. I am networking. I'm making connections. I am meeting people that are making associates that are turning into friends. I am traveling. I just came from traveling on New Year's because my girlfriend got married on New Year's Eve. I know, right? But it was the best party that you would have ever wanted to been at. Okay. So, really, just focusing on what you really want to do and just start doing it. You get this one life to live. Live it on your terms. Don't focus on what anybody else is doing. Do you. And be grateful for who you are, where you are, what you have, and more will come. More will come. Also, I shared my story of my healing journey, what I did, how I found out I had abandonment wounds, how I had trauma wounds, what I did, and why I was always okay with being by myself. Being alone. I was always okay with being alone because I was always left to deal with my emotions by myself. I put that in my book. The link is in the description if you want to get it. It's called Abandonment Is Not Your Fault. I share my story of what I went through for the relationships that I had that harnessed these types of wounds. But I also talk about how I started my healing process and what I did to get on the right track to finding me again. And I'm going to tell you, at 54, going on 55, baby, it don't get no better than this. And lastly, when I say you're never too late to do what you want to do, at 50, I went back to acting class, even though it was online because we were shut down for COVID. 2021, we opened up. I was able to go inside. I had been in acting class for a couple years straight. Then I started auditioning. Then I started getting booked. Then I got an agent. Then I started booking more work, and you will see me on somebody's screen this year. I even worked with Tyler Perry last year, so I'm excited, right? That was like a full circle moment for me. But I will say this. It's never too late. If you didn't do it in your 20s, you can do it in your 30s. If you do it in your 30s, you can do it in your 40s. If you do it in your 40s, you can do it in your 50s. Just like I did. And like I'm doing right now. So I hope that my story encouraged you. I also hope that these informational tips that I gave you today will cause you to do some critical thinking and some cognitive thinking on what it is that you want to do for you and how you will take back your power, take back your life, and start getting involved with life. Start getting involved with your life and what you desire to do. Whether you do it by yourself or with someone else, at the end of the day, when you get home, you'll be glad that you did it your way. All right, I'm Sonia Renee. Again, if you like this video, like and subscribe. Please share with someone else. And I'll see you next time. Bye.